All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the March 2021 Zoom meeting, members meeting. Hopefully, we're starting to see some things that are looking promising. Maybe we can start to maybe get going with discussions about doing an in-person meeting or in person with a Zoom computer in the corner, something like that. I'm quite hopeful. So let's get on with it. Maybe. Hello. There we go. All right, financials. Our operating account, as of the email from Mr. Bill yesterday, has $8,108. We have $11,112 in our savings. PayPal has $951. Our self-insurance is $10,499. The convention fund, if we can ever have a convention again, is $42.95 for a total of $34,964. This month we brought in $391. The net year to date is $3 because we have some beginning of the year expenses, and the on top of that we have the last of the filters that we agreed to buy over the years for field day. So the last one of those has been purchased. So we now have quite a collection of Dune Star multiband filters for our field day efforts, and we'll talk about field day here soon, even though Mr. Jim, who's ramrodding it, is out playing the ARRL contest. The other thing that I did not manage to wedge on this slide, but it is there, is that the PayPal Giving Fund gave us $10 this month. So that was nice. Mr. Bill, do you have anything to add to this?
Well, when I unmute, here I am. Yeah, fine. I think somebody was asking, what happened to the Amazon donation from last year? Well, they're usually around 3 or 4 months behind giving it to us. So we did get $69 from Amazon for the October through December purchases, which that's pretty good. And I think we've received close to $600 total from them over the length of the smileamazon.com charity donations. Been very good. And yes, we did get the last filter. We ordered it this month and got it this month. Dune Star was going through some problems. Their founder, chief developer, designer passed away this past year. So they had to kind of regroup and figure out, probably get the plant opened up and get all of the liens off of everything and get the what am I trying to think of? Make sure that they were, clear to operate with the state. Anyway, that's all done. So we're looking forward to a fairly big year. And yeah, hopefully in the next few months, we can look at having a real meeting with, breakfast.
That sure would be nice.
Yes, that's about it though. Any questions from anybody? You may have to unmute or allow people to unmute themselves. Or you can hold up, well, you can't hold up your hand because nobody can see it.
Yeah, so if somebody has a question, just go ahead and come off mute, give your call sign, and then ask away. Not hearing any at the moment.
Yeah, I think hopefully we're going to be looking at replacing some of the older Hilltop machines that are out there. So we're going to be cutting into that $11,000 pretty much this year.
And just perfect, thank you. Just so everyone knows, I know we have a varying collection of people with different stuff. The Dune Star filters, what they are, is they're a bandpass filter that allows specifically targeted operating frequencies through the device, and so that you can have people that are close together where your radio would normally get overloaded. The Dune Star filters let us operate close together with considerably less overload interference from each other. Just so everyone knows what those are. There was a item brought to the board years ago, and we purchased, was it 6 of them, Bill? Just give me a thumbs up.
Sorry, Bill. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It was
actually, I
4.
think we bought 7.
7, that's right.
Yeah, they filter what, 5 or 6 bands, and there's a little controller in front of you. Pick the band you want, and hopefully it will not allow anything outside of your band to get it into your box.
Okay.
Of course, some of the newer machines don't really need something like that, but some of the older machines, yeah, they're not quite as selective on their first RF amplifier.
What's the band selectivity and what's the rejection rate on the non-selected band?
How about we just send you the link and you can go look at the tech specs, Bob?
Thank you.
Sure.
It is Dunestar, DUNESTAR.com. Great outfit. And they're coming back.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I'll keep moving. Our membership, as of about midnight last night, we had 441 members. 291 of us are ARRL members. We had 18 new members this month, and we now have 29, up one point. We now have 29 volunteer examiners. Crystal and the VE team did a great job. We had a VE session at the Regional Training Center that allowed us to social distance. It also worked in the same time as Bob Miller's ham class. And we had 51 people take the test. And if I remember correctly, Bill, 49 passed. Was that our number?
I think that's about it. There were only a couple who didn't pass the first time.
Some of them were like the second test.
Yeah, and we had a few that went from technician to general, and I think we had 2 extras.
Yeah, I believe so.
It was a mob though. Crystal did an outstanding job.
It was a mob, and I appreciate everyone who goes to the VE sessions and volunteers to help. It's good to keep bringing more people into the hobby. And for a while there, we couldn't have any sessions, and there was some discussions about trying to do them under Zoom, and it sounded like even with Zoom, it was entirely too difficult to proctor a test. I know there were some test platforms that were done in Puerto Rico and a couple other places, and I never heard if they were successful or not. So anyway, you can always get the membership stats at that link at the bottom of the screen. You click on it and wait about 30 seconds, and it looks at our roster and cranks out the statistics. So, all right. Before we get into the presentation that I'm excited to see, we have the club business. The Ham Tech Night seems to be very popular, and you really should check it out. A lot of fun. Field day. I know Jim Shepard isn't here. He's off playing the contest right now. I believe he said he's in Pahrump, but he's out having a good time. Field day is coming. It is going to happen. We have the good campground at Washoe Lake State Park, and we are a go for that. We are going to need a lot of help. My understanding is that John, our long-standing chef, is not going to be available. So I certainly hope that we can maybe get some people that are interested in coming out and playing radio and having a good, safe time, and also help out, make sure that it runs so that we can operate and eat and have a good time and finally do something as a club. That'd be a lot of fun that is in person. So Field day, I'm sure that Jim's going to be doing a presentation. Please consider coming out. Please consider helping. And before I open it from comments from members, I have to tell everybody, I've always thanked the guys that run, Barry and Doug, that run the Zoom meeting to make this all possible. I don't have to do anything but get on here, talk to you guys, and run my slides. The other thing that happens in the background is that Barry has been instrumental in making sure that we have someone to present. And it's actually been really nice. It's kind of hard to find people, and Barry is able to come up with people all over the place. So I just want to thank him, and everybody. If you enjoy the presentations, definitely throw Barry some flowers there. Anyway, let's open it up for comments from members. So Barry, if you'd like to unlock everybody.
Yeah, everybody's unlocked. I think the best thing to do is come in with your call sign, and then John can acknowledge you, and then go from there. And if you don't have a call sign, just give your name. Who has questions? We've got answers, we hope.
Maybe, or we'll make something up.
There's got to be at least one question. Okay, so
this is Rita, WL7CQW. So tell me a little bit more about Field Day. What else does it entail? What's the purpose behind it?
Sure, Rita. And thanks for joining us. Field Day is, other than it being a good time and the ability to finally get together and maybe have some fun, it is the ability to go out and gives us all practice in setting up in a remote location, gives us the ability to test our preparedness, actually run stuff out in the field before we were to actually have to do that in response to an emergency or something like that where communications were needed, because that's kind of what we're here for, is to provide communications in when needed. So it's a good way to practice for that. Iron out all your bugs. I know a couple of times I've thought that I was going to go out and operate somewhere, and I went out and I was going to operate for 2 or 3 days, and I wound up going home when the sun went down because of all the stuff that I forgot or the things that didn't work, and the ability to iron out my kit for being able to deploy. So Field Day is a great way to do that and also have a good time. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. And if perchance I can't make it, can I still listen in on my radio? Will it be on the SNARS repeaters or?
I believe we are going to have people on the air on the repeaters. The other thing we're hoping to do is as soon as we can get up to one of the repeater sites, we're going to turn back on our internet feed. We've gotten the gear back, and Tony and I have been working on setting it up so there's a way to actually have the internet feed linked back to the repeater systems again, and hopefully more permanent this time.
I have one thing to that, and that is not all of it, but a lot of it's on HF and VHF, sideband, CW, and data. And what I want to say is that if it happens every year on the 4th weekend in June, some years there's 5 weekends, so it's always the 4th, not the last. The other is it happens all around the U.S. and Canada. So if for some reason somebody can't make it to whatever location, there's a lot of them all over the place. And usually on the ARRL website it shows it. So like the years that I've traveled, there's something I'll go somewhere else. That's another way to play. Great question.
The other thing is that last year we had the dispensation, and I don't know if they'll do it again this year, for social distancing, where you could go out, operate Field Day as part of your club, and then just put in the logs what club you operated with. And it was a way to let everyone still do Field Day, even though we couldn't come together as a club because of the social distancing requirements and shutdowns that people had.
WB2AWQ.
Go ahead, Howie.
First off, the ARRL is allowing the dispensations again this year. That did come out. That was, I guess, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago they came out with that information. I don't know. What I don't know is if a club can do both an event like we're planning and participate in the dispensation aspect of it. Rita, what that is it allowed people to operate from their home stations and still participate in the full extent of field day. And the ARRL gathered club aggregate scores and put them all together, which was kind of nice. I operated last year with my son. He's a ham, he's KB2 SFS. And he and I did CW from our house, and it did pretty well, I guess.
Okay, so any other questions? Barry, you're muted.
I had one more question, KJ7HMV.
Go ahead.
I know that they don't take reservations down there at the park. I know that you guys have it set up as a group. Is it first come, first serve still, or is it kind of closed off for just us?
We have the group area, the big group area. Jim Shepard, fortunately, is retired, and he went down and hung out the morning that it was opened up to do reservations. He was the first in the door and got us the spot.
Great. Well, I'll put myself in for it. Also, keep me in mind for chef. I'll bring my wife, and we could. She's a non-member, not member, but she's not a ham radio, so she be a little bit more available. And I've done it quite a few times other parties, so keep me in mind.
Awesome. We will do that, and I'll have you. I've got your call written down, and I'll have you reach out to Jim Shepard. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Barry, I'll bring up just one or two things about what we might do in the future. So there's obviously, when COVID gets more in line, hopefully we'll go back to in person. Two things we're thinking about doing. We're still in a little bit of winter today, although it is official winter. Maybe in the spring we might do a fox hunt. Fox hunt, for those of you who don't know, is where they take a transmitter, they hide it. It's a little beacon. You take your little HGs, and as you walk around, you try to figure out where it's hiding. So that's kind of cool. So we'll just have to see. That would be a good social distance thing. Then when things get even more better, better than it is today, and maybe not quite ready to be in person, maybe, and this is a maybe, so we'll just have to see. Maybe we can do a swap. We do outdoors somewhere. But obviously COVID is the binding factor there. Any other questions before we go to the presentation? A final call. Okay, hearing none. John, do you want to close up, and I'll stop the recording and start it again, and just leave this slide up to start with, if you would. No
problem. All right, everybody. I want to thank you for attending, and please stand by for our presentation. And it's good to see everybody virtually. And as Barry said, I know everyone's hoping that we can all start getting back to as normal as we can. We've done a good job of coming up with ways to stay active, even though we're all active apart. But at least it's been good, and it's good to see everyone who's doing well, and hopefully this ends soon, and we can start to really enjoy spring and summer, and maybe even having some get-togethers. And with that, I'm going to mute myself up, and I'll leave the slide until you're ready, Barry.
Okay, so for the recording, this completes the business portion of the STARS membership meeting for March 6, 2021. Thanks, everyone.